බුද්ධං 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 වන්දේ ධම්මං 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 වන්දේ සංඝං 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 වන්දේ බුද්ධං ධම්මං සංඝං වන්දේ. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, homage to the Sangha, the noble disciples of the Supreme Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. 3. Refuge. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. I go to the Buddha for refuge. I go to the Dhamma for refuge. I go to the Sangha for refuge. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. A second time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A second time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A second time I go to the Sangha for refuge. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. A third time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A third time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A third time I go to the Sangha for refuge. 5 precepts. Panchasila. Pānātipātā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. I undertake the training tool to abstain from taking life. Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. I undertake the training tool to abstain from stealing. Kāmesu micchāchārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. I undertake the training tool to abstain from sexual misconduct. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. I undertake the training tool to abstain from false speech. Surameraya majjapamā daṭṭhāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. I undertake the training tool to abstain from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddha Vandana. homage to the Supreme Buddha, the Exalted One. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vinyacharana sampanno sugato lokavido anuntaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manussanam buddho bhagavati. Such indeed the exalted one, worthy, supremely enlightened, endowed with knowledge and conduct, well gone, nor of the world, incomparable trainer of persons to be tamed, the teacher of deities and men, enlightened and exalted. Dhamma Vandana, homage to the Dhamma, the teachings of the Supreme Buddha. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sandittiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko pancantang veditambo vinyuhiti. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Visible results, immediately effective, calling one to come and see, leading onwards and to be personally realized by the wise. Sangha Vandana, homage to the Sangha, the noble disciples of the Exalted One. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samichi patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidan chantari purisa yugani atta purisa pungala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuntaram punyakenthang lokan sati. The order of the Blessed One's disciples is practicing well. The order of the Blessed One's disciples is practicing correctly. The order of the Blessed One's disciples is practicing rightly. The order of the Blessed One's disciples is practicing properly. This is the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 kind of individuals. This, the order of the Blessed One's disciples, worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, the supreme field of merits for the world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in Dhamma, today we are going to discuss our sutra or sutta discussion and also practice in Dhamma and practice in meditation. At this moment we are going to explain one of the main discourses in Buddhism, Kalyana Mitta Sutta, the discourse of good friendship, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya. Before discussing this information about the discourse, first of all we are going to practice a meditation technique. At this moment we are hoping to practice Anapanasati Bhavana. breathe-in meditation. There are 40 meditation techniques that we can see in Buddhist teachings. Among them, practicing breathing meditation or Anapanasati Bhavana is highly appreciated by the Exalted One. Therefore, at this moment, we are going to concentrate our mind in breathing in and out. When mind is concentrated, we are going to reflect on impermanence. Breathing meditation we first use for as a concentration meditation. When mind gains concentration little by little, we reflect on impermanence which happens to our body and mind. Our body every moment arises and ceases. Not only our body, our mind every moment always arises and ceases. And 5 aggregates, the bottom level of our life, every moment arise and cease. If we are able to understand this reality, actually we are able to overcome suffering. We are able to overcome problems in our day-to-day life. This is the highest quality practicing insight meditation, Vipassana Bhavana, that the Supreme Buddha has explained for getting rid of suffering completely. Therefore, first of all, we practice breathing meditation as a concentration meditation technique. When mind gains concentration, we are going to practice reflect on impermanence. Friends in Dhamma, please get ready for our sitting meditation at this moment. Please take a seat for your sitting meditation. You can take a very relaxed posture for our sitting meditation. Okay, relax your body please first. Keep your right hand on the left hand. Straight your body. Close your eyes gently. Please be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. Be aware of your body posture from your head to legs and from your legs to head. Okay, take a breath in. Hold few seconds. And breathe out slowly. Relax your body please. Again take a deep breath in. Hold few seconds. And breathe out slowly. Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, please keep your attention around the nose or upper lip. That is why Buddha says, Parimukhang satinupattapetva nasikaggyeva mukhanimitteva. When we are going to practice a meditation technique, according to what the Buddha explained, we keep our attention around the nose or upper lip as a sati nimitta, the object of mindfulness. Then we focus our meditation technique. Now we are going to practice breathing meditation. We contemplate on very natural breathing that we frequently do in and out. When breathe in, we are aware of that now I am breathing in. When breathe out, we understand, we are aware of that now I am breathing out. We are contemplating on very natural breathing in and out. Okay, keeping your attention around the nose, or upper lip. When I am breathing in, I understand that now I am breathing in. When I breathe out, I understand that now I am breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. We keep our attention in the present moment, breathing in and out. We keep our attention around the nose or upper lip. At the same time, we are aware of that breathing in and out. Satova assa sati, satova passa sati. I am breathing in and out with awareness. Breathing in, breathing out. I am breathing in and out mindfully. When I breathe in alone, I understand that now I am breathing in alone. When I breathe out alone, we understand that now I am breathing alone out. Digang vasa santo, digang assa samiti pajanati, digang va passa santo, digang passa samiti pajanati. When I breathe in alone, I understand that now I am breathing in alone. When I breathe out alone, we understand that now I am breathing out alone. being aware of long and short of the breathing. I am breathing in and out. When I breathe in short, I understand that now I am breathing in short. When I breathe out short, I understand that now I am breathing out short. Rassan vasa santo, rassan assa samiti pajanati. Rassan va passa santo, rassam passa samiti pajanati. Breathing in, breathing out. I keep my full attention in the present moment with breathing in and out. I don't think my past or future. I keep my full attention in the present moment with the awareness of breathing in and out. I am breathing in, sensitive to the entire breathing body. I am breathing out, sensitive to the entire breathing body. I keep my full attention in the present moment, keeping my attention around the nose or upper lip with the awareness of breathing in and out. I understand my entire breathing in and out, but furthermore, I keep my attention around the nose or upper lip. I am fully aware of my entire breathing in and out. I understand that my breathing gradually calms down. I am breathing in, calming my entire breathing body. I am breathing out, calming my entire breathing body. I understand that my mind gradually gains concentration with breathing in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. I understand that every moment my body changes, my breathing also changes, my mind also changes. This is the nature of my life. My entire life is that the five aggregates: Rupa, forms, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana, consciousness. These five things every moment arise together, they immediately cease together. Whenever I see something, I hear something, I smell something, I taste something, I touch something, I think something. These five aggregates arise together, they cease together. When I recognize something, I understand everything through my mind consciousness, not my eye consciousness or ear consciousness. When I recognize something through my mind consciousness, the previous experience, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, or tongue consciousness, actually they have ceased already. I understand everything through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also impermanent. It arises and ceases at the moment. My entire life is that mind, mental formations, and mind consciousness. These things arise together, they cease together. Reflecting on this impermanence of my five aggregates, or body and mind, I am breathing in and out. I am breathing in, reflecting on impermanence. I am breathing out, reflecting on impermanence. I am breathing in, reflecting on dispassion. I am breathing out, reflecting on dispassion. I am breathing in, reflecting on cessation. I am breathing out, reflecting on cessation. I am breathing in, reflecting on relinquishment or abandonment. I am breathing out, reflecting on relinquishment or abandonment. Everything is impermanent. My body is impermanent. My mind also is impermanent. I is impermanent. Forms are impermanent. I consciousness is impermanent. Ear is impermanent. Sound is impermanent. Ear consciousness is impermanent. Nose is impermanent. Smell is impermanent. Nose consciousness is impermanent. Tongue is impermanent. Taste is impermanent. Tongue consciousness is impermanent. Body is impermanent. Feeling is impermanent. Body consciousness is impermanent. Mind is impermanent. Mental formations are impermanent. Mind consciousness is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Everything arises and ceases at the moment. They are impermanent. They are dissatisfactory. They are selfless. Everything is impermanent. 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 Whatever I experience through my senses, I suddenly understand that the forms have already ceased. I recognize everything through my mind consciousness. When I recognize something through my mind consciousness, forms have already ceased. This is the reality in my life. Whenever I reflect on this reality which happens to my life, at the moment I am away from forms. My mind is not fixed any form outside, or even my mind doesn't depend on my mind, since I understand my mind also impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Sabbe sankara anicchati yada paññāya pansati ata nibbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhiyā. All conditioned things are impermanent. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sabbe sankara dukkati yada paññāya pansati ata nibbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhiya. All conditioned things are dissatisfactory or suffering. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sabbe dhamma anantati yada panyaya pansati atanibindati dukke esa maggo visuddhiya. All phenomena are selfless. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devatam sandhammang munirajassa sunanto sagga mokkadam dhammasavana kalo ayam badantam dhammasavana kalo ayam badantam dhammasavana kalo ayam badantam. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Eka dhammo bhikkhave bahukaro ariyassa attangikassa maggassa uppadaya katamo eka dhammo yadidang kalyana mittatam kalyana mittasse tam bhikkhave bhikkhuno patikankam ariyang attangikang maggam bhavessati ariyang attangikang maggam bahuli karissati. Venerable members of the Mahasangha, friends in Dhamma, all of you are gathering here for the Saturday Dhamma program. First of all, we practice meditation. Now we are going to discuss a discourse what the Buddha explained. Here we are going to explain one of the discourses named Kalyanamitta Sutta, the discourse of good friendship, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya. This discourse explains the importance of good friendship, good association, noble friendship. Here Buddha says, one thing is very useful for arising of the Noble Eightfold Path. What is the one thing? The good association, good friendship, noble association. When someone has a good friendship, it's to be accepted, it should be expected that he will develop and cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path. If someone meets a good person who explains the Buddha's message, as the result of this good friendship, he will find the Buddha's message and also he is able to practice this path. Here especially Buddha explains the value of good association. When we discuss the Buddha's message, having a good friendship, noble association is highly appreciated in Buddhism in many discourses. Buddha says there are four factors that help us to go forward on the path of liberation. One of them is good association, Kalyana Mitta Asraya. When we have Kalyana Mitta Asraya or good friendship, we associate with him honestly, with understanding, and also we are ready to pay our attention to what he says. Buddha says we should have three qualifications in good friendship: Kalyana Mittata, Kalyana Sahayata, Kalyana Sampavankata. First, we should have good friends. Not only that, we should make them friends. Sometimes we have seen that some people have good friends, but they are not familiar with those good friends. We receive the good friendship as the result of some previous good actions and wishes. When we meet good friends who knows the Dhamma, we should make them friends. That is the second quality. The third one is that we should pay our attention to what they say. That is also very important. It says in Buddhism, Suvacha or Sovachasata. Suvacha means good attention or active listening, being gently spoken. We should be gently spoken when someone says something. Then we receive this valuable message. Buddha always emphasized the importance of having good friends. One day, Bhante Ananda says that, Reverend Sir, I see something, which is that the half of the holy life, spiritual life, depends on good friendship. Reverend Ananda says, near the Buddha, Bhante, I see that the half of practice in holy life, the half of spiritual life depends on good friendship. Then what did Buddha say? Buddha says, Mahevanananda, Mahevanananda. Ananda, don't say that. Ananda, don't say like that. Not only half, but the entire spiritual life, the holy life depends on associating good friends. Here we can understand how this association is important. In this situation, Buddha says, when someone meets a good friend, he has a good chance to listen to what the Buddha explained. Especially, he has a chance to listen to what the Buddha taught about the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is the main doctrine in Buddhism. All the doctrines that Buddha has explained for 45 years can be summarized in this one topic, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Buddha says, very good example, that when the sun comes to the world in the morning from the east direction, before the sun comes to the world, before we see the sun in the morning, we can see a very red color in the east direction, in the sky. When that color comes to the sky, we understand very soon the sun is coming to the world. The dawn or red color sky shows that the sun is coming soon. Buddha says, when someone meets a good friend, It is like the dawn or the red color of the east direction before sun comes to the world. Arunodaya is like the good friendship. Arunodaya means dawn or the red color sky in the east direction early morning before sun comes to the world. When we meet a good friend, it means that like the sun, we are going to listen into the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is like the sun. The dawn is like good friendship. When dawn comes to the sky, we understand that surely sun comes to the world. Like that, when we meet a good friend who knows the Dhamma, who practices Dhamma, then we can understand, we are able to listen into what the Buddha taught, the main doctrine, the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path can be explained in two ways. One of them is that which relates to the conventional truth or the heavenly path. The second one is that which leads to overcome the samsaric circle completely. Here it is very important to understand the right understanding of Sammaditthi. When we meet a good friend, if we have good attention, if we pay our attention to listening to what he says, then he explains the Noble Eightfold Path. The very first one is that right understanding or Sammaditthi, correct vision. What is the correct vision? Our good friend says that about the karmic law, the eternal truth of karmic law. What is the karmic law? Whatever we do with intention, we will have the same results. If mind is wicked, the results are evil or negative. When mind is pure and calm, the results are fruitful. According to our intention, we will have the same results. When mind is impure or wicked, then results are negative. We have to face suffering in this immediate life. When our mind is pure, then results are fruitful. It means we are happy. If someone has this understanding, he always tries to overcome negativities or evils from his life. He always tries to keep his mind in pure and calm. When our mind is calm and pure, then little by little we go forward. When we have this understanding, then we have right intention. We abstain from negativities, especially the intention of sensual pleasure, the intention of anger, and the intention of cruelty. We overcome these negative intentions from our mind. It means in one side, we practice generosity, on the other side, we practice loving kindness meditation. The more we practice generosity, the more we purify our mind from attachment or desire. And also, we practice loving kindness meditation in order to overcome greed, in order to overcome anger, which is one of the reasons that disturb our peace of mind. We understand very clearly, if our mind is polluted with anger, everything that we earned is useless. Therefore, always we trained our mind to overcome anger by practicing loving kindness meditation, contemplating on thus may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. This is right intention or Samma Sankappa. Not only that, we practice sila or virtue, morality, right speech. As soon as we have correct vision, we discipline in our speech and behavior. First, we correct our speech. We abstain from false speech, harsh speech, and slandering speech, and useless words. We have a highest discipline in our speech. We always keep our discipline in our speech. Whatever we speak, we think again and again whether it is correct. We abstain from false speech, slandering speech, harsh speech, and useless words. Then we are so happy because we have no regrets, because always we keep our attention in our speech. Not only that, we go forward little by little, we practice right action. What is the right action? Discipline in our behavior. What is the right action? Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct. When we have this understanding, we have good discipline in our speech and behavior. Furthermore, we go forward right livelihood. We overcome negative or evil jobs which harm other beings. And also, we always earn some money righteously, honestly, without harming other beings. The next one is Samma Vayama, right effort. We trained our mind to overcome negative actions, evil or unwholesome things. We abstain from evil and unwholesome things, and also we have effort to develop and cultivate good activities, wholesome activities. This belongs to right effort or Samma Vayama. Then right mindfulness. We are aware of our body and mind. We always keep our attention in our body, feeling, consciousness, and mental formations. As a result of practicing this path, we are always aware of our life. We do everything with mindfulness. Then we have no regrets. Always we have confidence in our behavior and speech. Not only that, little by little, we practice concentration meditation. According to Buddhism, there are 40 meditation techniques that we can practice to concentrate our mind. What is the purpose of practicing concentration meditation? We keep our attention in the present moment with a positive thought, such as loving kindness, the qualities of the Buddha, the qualities of the Dhamma, like that. We can practice a meditation technique again and again for the concentration of our mind. When we practice this meditation again and again, we are able to keep our attention in the present moment for a long time. As the result of practicing these meditation techniques, we are able to overcome negative thoughts from our mind, especially 5 hindrances. What are the 5 hindrances? Sensual pleasure, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and skeptical doubts. These are the things that pollute our mind. Whenever our mind is polluted or wicked, it means we have no inner peace. Even though we earned a lot of money, although we are well educated, if these hindrances pollute our mind, at the moment actually we have no real happiness. We have no peace of mind. Everything that we earned is useless. That is why the Supreme Buddha pointed out the way how we purify our mind from these negativities, from 5 hindrances. As the result of practicing this path, the highest quality or benefit that we can gain by practicing this path, we are able to keep our attention in the present moment with a positive thought. As the result of practicing this path, we are able to overcome greed and anger for a long time. It means our mind is like in the Brahma realm. Even though physically we are in the human realm, human world, mentally we are in the higher level, the heavenly realm or Brahma realm. We can see the beauty of our life. We can increase our inner peace, happiness, satisfaction, which is the main goal of everyone who was born in this world. By practicing this path, having good association, we have a chance to listen to what the Buddha taught. With the understanding of the karmic law, we practice Eightfold Path. We came to the concentration. As the result of practicing this path, finally we can keep our mind in equanimity. We can make an equal mind, upekha. But still we are in ignorance. Still we are in the sansaric circle, even though we are in equanimity. What is that? We created these positive thoughts with ignorance, avidya paccaya sankhara. What is the ignorance? Ignorance means we think there is a particular world outside. On the other side, when we see something, we think that there is some material thing outside. Or we think that before we experience something, there was something. After we experience, something remains in the world. Actually, this is the nature of ignorance. Whenever we think something, we always relate it to some material things. It means we think that there is a material world in the world. But when we go to the higher level in the truth, we can understand there is a material world, but it depends on the present moment, the present mental situation. When we think something, there is a world, but when we don't think, there is no world. The world is created by ourselves at the moment according to our present mental condition. But we always live in the past experience. For example, when you look at this picture, when you hear this sound, you think, I understand the present form, present sound. Actually, our eye can contact form. Our ear can contact sound. But when we recognize some forms or sounds, the first experience has already ceased. We understand everything when the form has ceased. This is the reality. This is the reason why suffering arises. When we have no this understanding, when we experience something through our senses because of our ignorance, suddenly our mind is fixed in outside. And also, when those outside persons and things or materials change, we are suffering because our mind is fixed in outside materials. But we experience something in the world when something has passed away, when something has ceased. If we have this understanding, we want to overcome this misunderstanding, ignorance or delusion. We understand delusion is the main reason that we suffer. Whenever we are ignorant, we depend on outside. It means outside persons and things are able to control us. When we are controlled by outside, it means we are not away from suffering. Buddha has explained the way how we make a real refuge. Assurance. The way how we make a refuge is that practicing this noble eightfold path with the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. When we associate a good friend, he or she explains us that how suffering arises, how suffering ceases. The very first experience is the noble truth of suffering. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we taste something, when we touch something, when we think something, the very first experience is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. It is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. It is neutral. If we don't know this reality, if we have no understanding about this very first experience that it is neutral, then we take it as me, as mine, as myself. That is the cause of suffering. If we want to overcome this suffering, we understand the noble truth of suffering, dukkha satya, the very first step of the Four Noble Truths. Dukkha satya means the very first experience which is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, which is neutral. When we recognize this first experience as the dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering, then we understand if we are ignorant about this situation, our mind is fixed in outside material things or even inside mind. With this understanding, we try to overcome the attachment to the world because now we see the reality. What is the reality? The reality is that the first experience is neutral. If we are ignorant, we take it as mine, as me, as myself, then we have attachment to the world. When we have attachment to the world, we have to get suffering. We are not away from suffering because our mind is fixed in outside material world. This is the cause of suffering, the noble truth of the origin of suffering, Samudaya Satya. With the understanding of the Dhamma that we gain through good association, we go to the Nirodha Satya, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. What is the cessation of suffering? The noble truth of the cessation of suffering. We understand this reality and also we have no attachment to the world. Why is that? As soon as we see something, we hear something, we smell something, we taste something, we touch something, we remember something, we understand the very first experience has already ceased, then we are in this understanding. We reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of five aggregates of our senses. If we are able to reflect on impermanence of our eye, ear, nose like that, we understand my eye every moment arises and ceases, and forms arise and cease at the moment according to my eyes. Sounds also arise at the moment according to my ears. Or we understand the smell arises at the moment according to my nose. Nose arises according to my mental condition, my ignorance, desire, karma, like that. If you have this understanding, We are in the end of the cessation, Nirodhanta. Nirodhanta means we are aware of the cessation of 5 aggregates or 6 senses or 6 external objects. Whenever we are in the end of the cessation of 5 aggregates or senses, it means we reflect on impermanence. This is the noble truth of the cessation of sufferings, Nirodha Satya. Then we understand the path that leads to achieve this reality permanently, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. In short, 3 disciplines, morality, concentration, and wisdom. In short, very short, samatha and vipassana. That is why Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we can practice are concentration and insight meditation. Concentration means keeping our attention in the present moment, developing a positive thought again and again. The duration of concentration, and when mind gains concentration, we reflect on impermanence. I is impermanent, form is impermanent, I consciousness is impermanent, ear is impermanent, sound is impermanent, ear consciousness is impermanent, my tongue is impermanent, my taste is impermanent, my tongue consciousness is impermanent, body is impermanent, feeling is impermanent, body consciousness is impermanent, mind is impermanent, forms are impermanent, mind consciousness is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. When we practice this path, then we realize the 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates means forms, rupa, vedana, feelings, sanya, perception, sankhara, mental formations, and vijnana, consciousness. Every moment these 5 aggregates arise and they immediately cease. If we have mindfulness and wisdom, we can realize this reality. If we are ignorant, then these 5 aggregates going to cling in. Then we have the clinging of 5 aggregates. Whenever we have clinging to 5 aggregates, it means we are in suffering. We are subject to decay, we are subject to disease, we are subject to death, we are subject to separation from our beloved and dearest. We have to suffer a lot, like sorrow, lamentation, like that. If we don't like to get suffering, we have to practice this path. Whenever we practice this path by listening to Dhamma from good association, then we always are in the path of liberation, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Buddha says, the Noble Eightfold Path is the fearless path, that is the direct path which leads to getting rid of suffering. We receive this valuable message by associating with good friendship. For that, we have to associate good friends again and again. It is not just a physical association, but if we know some good friends, noble association who explain the Dhamma, we have a lot of facilities in the current world, especially using internet. We can go to meet good friends and we have to listen to what they say. By listening to Dhamma, by understanding the Dhamma, we are able to practice this path and also as the result of this path, gradually we are able to overcome suffering. At the very beginning, with the understanding of the karmic law, we practice the Noble Eightfold Path until Samma Samadhi, right concentration. When our mind is concentrated, we can become the equanimity. But still we are in ignorance. That is why we should go to the next level, which is the supramundane level. For that, we have to understand the Four Noble Truths, the five aggregates, cause and effect, and the Noble Eightfold Path. These four things are interrelated. Understanding the Four Noble Truths, understanding the dependent origination or causality, Patisampada, understanding five aggregates, and understanding the Noble Eightfold Path. These four things are interrelated. If we have these four things in one line, it means we have met the path. We have associated good friends correctly. It means we have found the correct path that leads to getting rid of suffering. If we are on the real path of liberation, every day we should understand, we should remember, we should comprehend these four things in our day-to-day life. What they are? Four Noble Truths, dependent origination, five aggregates, and the Noble Eightfold Path. If we find the Noble Eightfold Path, it means that is the fearless path, that is the direct path that helps us to go forward on the path of liberation. This is the real message, real path that helps us to overcome suffering completely in this life itself. If we practice the Noble Eightfold Path, it means we are so happy. We have no suffering. As soon as the negative thoughts come to our mind, we understand my mind has these kind of negativities because of my ignorance. Because of that, still I am in the previous experience, taking them as mine, as me, as myself. The reason is that I am in the ignorance. What is that? I am the end of the arising, samudayanta. If we are able to, if we want to overcome suffering, we should go to the end of the cessation, nirodhante. If we can understand my five senses and five external forms have already ceased, then we can free from suffering. For that, again and again, we have to listen to Dhamma. We have to practice the Dhamma. What is the practice in Dhamma? Practice in Dhamma means living in the fearless path, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. The more we go on the path of the Noble Eightfold Path, little by little we are able to attain Samma Jnana and Samma Vimukti, right knowledge and right liberation. Right knowledge means the more we practice the Noble Eightfold Path, the more we realize the Four Noble Truths. The more we realize the Four Noble Truths, the more we liberate from suffering. We liberate from delusion or ignorance. The more we free from delusion or ignorance, the more we liberate from greed or lust and ill will or anger. Our real success depends on our happiness. Our happiness depends on getting rid of suffering. Getting rid of suffering depends on reducing and overcoming greed, anger, and delusion. Reducing and overcoming greed, anger, and delusion completely depends on the duration of practicing concentration and insight meditation, samatha and vipassana. We have received a very valuable life, and also we receive a shana sampatti, a very rare, auspicious moment. At the same time, we have received the blissful life and also the valuable message, the Buddha's message, and we have Kalyana Mitra, good friends, having these facilities. We should listen to Dhamma again and again, and also we should develop our understanding, and also we should give the priority to practice this valuable message, and also we are able to get the results in this immediate life. For that, I wish you all the best. Today we discuss the importance of having good friendship. Buddha says, when we have a good friend, we have a chance to listen to what the Buddha taught. Saddhamma Savana. When we listen to Dhamma, we can gain confidence in what the Buddha taught. Saddha Sampatti, the accomplishment of confidence. When we have Saddha, we have Yoniso Manasikara, wise reflection. When we have Yoniso Manasikara, we have Sati Sampajanya, mindfulness and comprehension. When we have Sati Sampajanya, then we go to Indriya Sangvara, the discipline in our senses. When we have Indriya Sangvara or discipline in our six senses, then we go to the next level. What is that? Three disciplines. Discipline in our speech and behavior, discipline in our mind. Three discipline means discipline in our speech, behavior, and mind. These are the three disciplines. When we have three disciplines, we practice fourfold mindfulness. When we practice fourfold mindfulness, we develop 7 enlightenment factors. Sattabojjhanga. Sati, Dhamma Vijaya, Viriya, Piti, Passaddhi, Samadhi, Upekha. Sati Sambojjhanga means the enlightenment factor of mindfulness. Viriya, effort. Dhamma Vijaya, keen investigation of Dhamma. Piti, rapture. Passaddhi, tranquility. Samadhi, concentration. And Upekha, equanimity. These are the 7 enlightenment factors that we can develop as the result of practicing fourfold mindfulnesses. When we live in the field of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths, it means gradually these 7 enlightenment factors develop in our spiritual life. The more we practice and develop and cultivate these 7 enlightenment factors, the more we achieve the Vidya Vimukti, knowledge and liberation. The more we gain these 7 enlightenment factors, the more we realize the Four Noble Truths. The more we realize the Four Noble Truths, the more we liberate from greed, anger, and delusion. We receive all the results throughout practicing this path as the result of having good friendship. When we have Kalyana Mitra Sampatti, then we go on the path of liberation until the liberation or Vimukti. This is the path that we receive and practice having good friendship. For that, we have to develop our inner qualities: gratitude, generosity, virtue, and loving kindness. When we practice these primary qualities, then we are able to receive the good friendship. We meet good friends as the result of our good human values. But if we lost these good human values, if we miss these good human values, then we are unable to reach the real good friends who explain the real message what the Supreme Buddha explained. The more we have these good qualities such as gratitude, generosity, discipline, and loving kindness, the more we find good association, good friendship, the more we gain good association, the more we receive the real message, what the Blessed One explained. The more we have knowledge about the Dhamma, then we can clear the path, which is the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the fearless and direct path that leads to getting rid of suffering completely. For that, I wish you all the best. At this moment, we discussed very important discourse, Kalyanamitta Sutta, the discourse of good friendship, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya. Having this understanding day by day, let's try to go forward on this path by the power of this spiritual energy, by listening to Dhamma, by practicing Dhamma. May you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. May all of us attain the final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's say Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Dukkhaṃ pantāca niddukkhaṃ Bhayaṃ pantāca nibhayāṃ Sokhaṃ pantāca nissokhaṃ Hontu sabbe pipānino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May you attain the final bliss of liberation, the emancipation, Nibbana. May the Triple Gem bless you. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu.